This Tim Pool and Adam Crigler beef is crazy. The drama is insane, son. And I went to go look at the video because I kept hearing about it. Some of my supporters kept suggesting it to me. And damn it, Adam put out a video that was like 6 hours long. I was like, fam, this is crazy. First, I was like, I ain't gonna watch this. And then I thought, maybe I should watch this and make a video out of it. My supporters will really rock with that. So that's what I did. Guys, let's get straight into it. Don't forget to hit the like button, drop comments, share all that other stuff. And also, I don't get paid on YouTube. So if you want to support me extra, check the links in the description and also sign up for my Patreon. All right, let's get straight up into this. It's about to get wild.
And he invited me to do a show, something along the lines of Timcast IRL. And I asked Nisha if she wanted to move to Miami with me to do this show. And she said, okay. So we moved to Miami to this small, it wasn't that small. It was a 3-bedroom? It was a 4-bedroom house, but it was only 3 bedrooms that were used. And actually, Tim's older brother moved in too. Really awesome guy, by the way. Freaking love that guy. He's so nice. I kind of miss him, actually. I lost contact with him. But anyway, we get there. And we go to the Fusion office, Tim and I, and we sit down with the CEO, and they're all excited about it. We're telling them about what our plans are. It wasn't exactly, I don't remember exactly what we proposed to Fusion, but they were really excited about it. They were like, yeah, this is great. You know, a couple months went by. Tim and I were skating, actually, and I broke my tailbone about a month later. Man, that sucked. Anyway, the show never panned out. It never worked. Well, they just never got the funding for it.
Tim and Adam knew each other way before the podcast. It seems like Tim wanted to work with Adam and he made that happen, even if it didn't work out with the TV show that they was supposed to be working on, right? And I think that's pretty dope. He was like, yo, you know what? You're a good person. I like the way you work. I want to, do this with you. So he employed him, man. And I think it's really cool. We're going to get into the contract stuff later. I don't know the full details, but we will talk about that.
And I'm not joking when I say this. The next day, Tim called me and he asked me if I wanted to do a show again. And of course I was like, I really, like, we did this. I moved to Miami and you kind of left me high and dry. And Tim was like, no, I'm funding it this time. I'm going to do it. I want to set it up. I've been doing well on YouTube. I've mastered the algorithms. No, he didn't say that, but well, he didn't say it at that time, but, and let's be honest, he has mastered the algorithms.
Can't front. That's boss moves right there. That's balls me like, nah, we gonna do this. I've been killing it on YouTube. Well, I'm gonna do that. I like that, fam. And I'm doing that on a small scale now. And the bigger I get, I'm going to do that on a bigger scale, right? So I will be taking lessons from what I'm seeing Tim and Adam struggle with, right? Or what they did struggle with. I'm completely unbiased in this, guys. Just to be clear, I don't have any ties to either party, so I do want to give a fair, opinion on it. But I am going to learn. I'm going to use their mistakes to learn for the future, for sure, without a doubt. Adam did state that during the quarantine, when everyone had to be in the same house, that's when things started to get more hectic. I totally understand, fam. Even if I like someone, if I'm cool with them, or even if I'm related to them, having to be around them 24/7 is definitely not good, fam. You hear about couples, they get married and they're around each other a lot. None of the parties involved actually go out and, spend some time with maybe friends and things of that nature. That is absolutely necessary, fam. People don't know that, it seems, but you're going to learn. You're going to learn. That is something, and I do understand the struggle of that, without a doubt.
Like I said, there was a time where it was awesome. Like it worked. But it feels like it very quickly devolved. And I blame the lockdowns mostly, because had we all been able to get away from each other and maybe get our own place, get our own space, you couldn't go see other places. You couldn't even see a house. No one was showing anything. There was no, you just couldn't do anything. Restaurants were closed, bowling alleys. I mean, we all lived it, right? I don't really need to, explain that to you. I feel like everyone remembers March of 2020. in April of 2020.
That had to be hard as hell, especially when it involves a business relationship. Normal relationship, still hard. Business, now it's like, I gotta see this dude 24/7, personal, when we're recording, streaming, all this other stuff. 24/7, I gotta see him. I have a little bit of space. And there's other people I'm gonna have to deal with? Nah, I'm not rolling, fam. I'm not rolling. On Tim Pool's side, it seemed like it was less personal and more of a money thing, right? And I understand some of his points without a doubt. Imagine being the boss and you build the business and now you're given a huge chunk of your business. Not even just a pay, but a chunk, a percentage. That's record label stuff. This guy he wants to be independent, right? Why would you want to do anything that's record label level when it comes to, I guess, business? You don't want that. You don't want to have to give a huge chunk of what you earn. No, man. You want to have employees and pay them well, but when you're overpaying them, that is when it gets crazy. And there's certain things that in business they'll tell you, like you can't do that, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think he's going to speak on it more, but you might have to give ownership to someone if you're paying them that much legally. I'm not sure.
The reality of the money thing is totally true. I absolutely felt like I had worked so hard sleeping on floors and, working 16-hour days to just enter into a deal that saw me lose half the money when the deal was supposed to be that, Adam would do pre-production for IRL so we could talk about UFOs and dating drama and pop culture. And it was turning into me talking about what I already talked about, but I now had to give him a portion of the revenue.
That does sound crazy. What? Hell nah. No, absolutely not. No, I'm not giving that much money to someone that works for me. No. And I'm sure they could be extremely valuable, right? They was doing their thing and there was no complaints besides this. And maybe the yelling at somebody thing, but we're going to get into that. But other than that, nah, they was doing good. But hell no, I'm not paying you that much. That's ridiculous. No. Ownership? Absolutely not. And I hear this argument a lot when it comes to podcasts. People want ownership. It's like, did you create it? Is it your platform? They're like, no. Not at all. You was asked to join. Okay, now you're wilding then, right? And everything you can negotiate, but if that's what you're coming with, I'm turning that down immediately. Especially if I could just hire someone else who's going to do the job. Hopefully they're doing it well, but going to do the job just as well, fam, and they're willing to take a salary or just, I don't know, whatever checks that we negotiate that seems fair, rather than a whole big ass percentage of the entire thing. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that person. We just gotta go with that.
This morning I put up, Story X occurs, and then we do Timcast IRL and put up another segment, Story X occurs. Instead of me getting 300,000 views, I'm getting 150. And then the segment at night gets 150. And then the revenue is divided, and then you want a portion of that. But that's not what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, nah, Chief. Nah, I would not roll with that. Absolutely not. But I do want to be clear that if there was a contract and they agreed to some amount of time, I don't care if I gotta give you most of my stuff. I'm going to fulfill the contract. And then we can negotiate to where if I want to go lower, that's where I'm at with it. And if you want to go higher, that's where you at with it. And either we can figure something else out or you got to just part ways, bro. It's okay. It's business, right? That's why mixing friends with business sometimes doesn't work. If the person who is the boss, if he's clear on what he wants and he's like, I'm not playing no BS, it is what it is, then it could work out. Other than that, nah. I also do know that it has to be difficult to be the employee and to be reminded on a regular basis, hey man, hey, you're going to have to take a pay cut. Or even that, even if you're not reminded, bro, just thinking that you would have to take a pay cut, I know for me, it would be a hell no. So I can't blame Adam at all, especially if he's building his own and he has his own platform already. Yeah. I can't blame him at all.
Tim had a conversation with me about a week before I was let go. And this conversation was about money. And this money conversation went something like this. hey, Adam, we're doing so well that the cut that you're making, my accountant is telling me it's too much for us to pay you that amount. Like we were crushing it, and I was getting a percentage of the show. I won't get into the details about that, because it was a fair share. I wasn't complaining. Tim got a larger cut than me, rightly so. It was his show. He led, and I was the co-host. But that conversation stuck with me. I was like, well, whatever we need to do to figure it out.
At this point, we started making six figures per month. And my accountant informed me that, like, hey, you're paying this guy too much. He made substantially more than I did. And he was like, you're paying this guy too much. There's a limit on what we can do through payroll because of I don't know exactly what they said, but they were like, you're gonna have to figure out an alternative structure. And I was like, okay. I was like, man, this is getting crazy.
Their stories match on that one, 100%. So yeah, that's just how business works, fam. I can see both points. I can see how Adam's like, yo, this is what we agreed to. Let's stick to this. And I can see why Tim is like, nah, I'm taking a loss, bro. I'm taking a loss, and I didn't work this hard to take a loss. That it doesn't make sense. Of course, they shouldn't be getting equal, but we don't know the exact percentages. I do know that he said that, yeah, Tim was helping him out and definitely generous. He wasn't like he was a stingy boss that was like money hungry, right? So this could just be as simple as business. It could be as simple as just business, but why did videos have to get made and responses? I do not know that for sure. I don't know Adam. I've never spoken to him. He could have had his reasons, but to me personally, outside of these two, just in general, if you were friends with someone and y'all stop your business relationship and you proceed to go out and not bash them, I'm not saying that's what Adam is doing, but to, just talk about them that in a way that could be perceived as in a bad light, I definitely think that's foul. I think that's foul. That's why I'm real iffy with who I mess with now, fam. And if I cut someone off, I'll cut someone off if they have bad traits the way I think that they have potential to do that, because I think that's like extreme. I think that's mad extreme. Like, it's okay to part ways. Are you owed something? If you owed money, then I'm sure there's a legal way you can handle that. But if money isn't owed and everything's good, you got yours, he got his, this isn't necessary. Right? Like I would have spoke on this if I had to, and it would have been 10 seconds. And like, things didn't work out, nothing but love. But Adam was going to say more stuff that might not be such in a positive light, even though he has spoken them a little bit in a positive light. Some things are going to be like, all right, this is kind of messy.
And I was just like, bro, why? What did I do to you? Any of you? Nothing. What was the last thing I ever said about Adam? We want to open a coffee house and sell his coffee, use his coffee brand. I wish him the best. And then he wants to come out and start spreading lies about my family and my relationships. Like, what did I do?
Tim's feelings was hurt. I'm not even saying that in a bad way. You could just tell he was in pain right there. Like, and I understand, fam. I understand. I don't usually react like that. But behind the scenes, I've had conversations to where it's like, fam, why are these certain people coming at me and doing these things that could try to destroy me or like just put me in a bad light for the rest of my life or my career? They're doing this for things as simple as me not wanting to do a collab or me saying no to an interview or me cracking a joke. Why? What did I do to them that was that bad? And I had to realize, just like in real life on YouTube, some people are just crazy. Some toys just come broken, bro. You can't even try to figure out that logic. And I'm not saying that about Adam, but I do understand the frustration from Tim. It's like, I thought we were cool. I was still being like super nice. And I even planned on doing some form of business with you in the future, right? Like, I think he mentioned something about the coffee, something of that nature, some kind of caffeine thing. But yeah, I do understand. It's like, come on, bro. Like, you're paying me in this horrible light. And the only time I've seen people do this, and I'm not saying Adam is doing this, but the only time I've seen people do that, it usually was them trying to get clout and views and stuff like that of that nature. Or they was just so petty that they were willing to just throw everything away just because they want to have one over. And once again, I'm not saying that that's why Adam is doing this. There could be other stuff behind the scenes that I just don't know. So, yeah, that's just my opinion.
You know, Tim's learned the golden rule of being on the internet. You don't care what other people say. You just do the work. I learned that from him. Others could learn from him too. You know, he's got an insane work ethic.
I'm not going to say there's love there. I definitely do think that there's some form of respect, at least for the art or just his work ethic, right? I'm not going to say that he's still like care or they still buddies, because once you go out and do the clapbacks and expose videos and stuff like that, that bridge is burnt. Yeah, and if Tim is smart, that bridge is burnt. And I'm not even shading Adam or Tim necessarily. Just me and my personal like experience. I've seen so many times, man. I've had so many times that happened to someone was a friend. And the moment that we had like just a little small disagreement, they went crazy. And it was just like they wanted to destroy me. So I don't really want to be around someone who did that to me, to be honest. Right. So if I was Tim and if I was Adam, just keep your distance. There's no need to even speak. Right. That's just an opinion. No one has to listen to me. I ain't nobody's father.
There was something that really started irking me. And that was the way that, honestly, both Tim and Lydia had this mentality of being high and mighty and know best. And they're the smartest people that have all the answers. And I don't like that attitude. You know, I never want to be the smartest guy in the room. I never want to claim I have the answers, because no one has all the answers, right? I'll have advice. I'll have opinions. There was, yeah, I don't know. There was something about that really bugged me. And there was this vibe of both of them teaming up on me. And this wasn't just on the show. You know, this was persistent at all times. And let's just be honest, Lydia is a yes man to Tim. That's all she did. She had no opinions of her own. And this was not just live. And it was so irksome. You know, I would catch her lying live about books that she read. And I'd ask her a second later, oh, okay, what was in that book that's relevant? Like, what made you think of that book? Oh, I actually didn't read the book. I was like, you just said you read the book.
Now, while doing research, I've seen that a lot of people don't like this Lydia person. I don't know them, don't really have much of an opinion. But this is getting messy. It's getting messy. I guess at this point, you're talking about a coworker. You just stay in your mind about somebody that you worked with on things that you didn't agree with. So far, not that bad.
But that weird, like, hovering Lydia suddenly made sense when I saw her in the bed with him. And I was like, what the fuck? Okay, this is weird. Now, I didn't see them doing anything. They were just, that became a thing. And it all made sense. And then I learned that Lydia was married. And I was married at this time. I still am. I have a absolutely wonderful wife and partner who I would never cheat on. I've been cheated on before. I think it's horrible. And I have zero respect for people that do that.
Okay, I got to be fair. I don't want this to sound like I'm like the Tim Cape Crusader, but Adam, that was petty. That was extremely petty. It was nasty. When it comes to me, I don't think that that's anyone's business. Not at all, especially not yours. Right? That definitely not yours. Who is sleeping with and all that, especially if you're not with the company anymore, you want to part ways. That's kind of messy, bro. It's like, what was your point of doing that other than I'm being petty? I think that's, what the hell does that got to do with you? Now, let me state, because I don't want people to be like, oh man, you defending Tim. That's foul. If this is true, and this is all alleged, all we have is hearsay. This is why I'm like, nigga, what are you doing? It's all hearsay. But if this is true, Tim is nasty. Tim is nasty. You think you got it like that? You gonna do it right in front of homeboy, like just all out in the open? That's crazy. That's insane. But it's still none of our damn business. I'm not gonna, even if he did do it, I'm not judging him to the extent of I'm like, oh man, you cheated. Oh, horrible person. You could do way worse, right? And I'm not in his relationship. It's like, yeah, it's a horrible thing to do, but it's as bad as something that could be crazy, catastrophic. Nah, fam, and it's none of our business. I think that was petty. That was a petty point. I think that was absolutely not necessary. Shoot, if he didn't put that in it, I probably would have almost no criticism for him at all, actually. I think that's the only thing that he really said that was wrong. The whole messiness of he was sleeping with who, nah, fam. Nah, that's bro code 101. You don't do that. What's wrong with you? You don't do that.
That last episode that I was on, well, I mean, it was multiple. It was like a week, basically. Abortion was a hot topic issue, right? We were talking about it a lot. It was in the political conversation, as it always is. And, she, of course, was acting her like I mentioned. And I was getting annoyed by it, and I talked to Nish about it, and I was like, I have to say something. Like, I have to I want to be like, hey, you don't understand, like, what it's like for people who may have been in that situation.
Here's my stance when it comes to that. I'm against having abortions. I think that's crazy, but it's not my body. So there's nothing I can say, bro. Nothing I can say at all. I will say that if I was messing with a girl and we somehow conceived a baby and she decided to do that, even after I shared my opinion, okay, if that's what you want to do. But do know that whatever we had is done, boy. I will not be here to support you. No, I would have been here to support you if you kept the child. But since you want to, do that, then I don't want no parts in you. It's cool. Do your thing. No hate, no malice. Like, I want nothing but the best things for you. I want you to flourish, but I don't want you around me. Like, you pretty much took away a part of me. So it would be crazy if I was just here kicking it with you like that was no big deal.
And while I was there, Tim's brother stole my jacket, my only winter jacket. Like, I was freezing, and he took my jacket and freaking bolted. Now, I don't want to get into why he left, but it wasn't on good terms. That's not really my place to get into. I'm just really pissed off that he stole my jacket. And Tim even confirmed it with his mother later on. So, like, we found out he did take my jacket, but I still don't have that jacket back. I would love to have that jacket back. It was actually custom made for me. I got it in Alaska. So it's still kind of like, damn you, Chris.
Man, if you don't give that guy his jacket back, what's wrong with y'all? That's crazy. Mail him his damn jacket. I've heard that Tim's brother is saying something like, you gotta give me the shipping fee. Like, all you dudes is rich. Y'all gotta stop that. That's mad petty, bro. It seemed like his pettiness going back and forth from Tim. I don't think it was petty. I don't think it was petty at all. I do think the way that Tim conducts himself, people expect him to be extremely charitable, which he is, but they want him to be to the utmost, to where you're paying someone most of your money and you're getting, I think that's crazy. I do think that's insane, especially when you build your platform and you learn certain things. I think that's crazy. That's just me. That's my opinion on that. To be honest, I don't think anyone in this situation is at fault, right? When it comes to this, sometimes business just works like this. Sometimes just friendships and relationships just works like this. You got to just take that on the chin and move on. The one thing I do think that was like extra nasty, that I felt like was like, come on, that's a lot, was him coming at Tim for sleeping with the girl. That's none of his business, to be honest. That's none of our business, whether it happened or if it didn't, especially if it's circumstantial and you don't have any actual evidence. I think that's foul. I do think that them holding his coat hostage is crazy too. Like, send that man his damn coat, bro. I'm glad that you guys like ended this, and I hope that it could just be more positive to where you guys just go your own way. I'm saying I'm glad that y'all ended it, because this could have been way worse. If y'all stayed like working with each other, this could have been horrible. Oh no, this would have been a bad event. This would have been super bad. I'm glad that y'all figured out that maybe y'all weren't best working with each other. But that's my opinion. Hit the like button, drop some comments, subscribe if you haven't, watch more videos, check me out on Patreon, man. It really helps me. See you guys.